because I am a BLS and ACLS and PALS instructor, I have, in the last 6 months, I have met with several nursing students who are now joined into the work field, right? And they're like, oh, I want to get all my certifications for this hospital, what do you call it? Like for the hospitals, you have to have everything together for a hospital's hiring event, right? And so many of the people have said to me that they went to the hiring event or they put the application in 10 different hospitals between West Palm and Miami, and no call back. These, there's actually one particular hospital system in South Florida right now that only hires from their school or something to that effect now. Like, they know that they have their own college, so they want to only hire from their school as much as they possibly can. And you can't blame them for that, because if they're producing the nurses, they got to give them a job, So to some extent, if I was one of those nurses, that would be beneficial. Because I did not have that benefit myself, and I haven't seen everybody having that benefit, right? You spend all this money on school. If you did a bachelor's, you have student loan. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Some people, parents paid for their school, or they had they worked their way through school and paid for it. At least 50% of the people I know paid some money for that bachelor's. Or if you were a new associate and you paid for school, or you had financial aid, covered it at the community college, great. You have already spent a good coin between NCLEX, your certifications and everything, to be able to get a license to work. I would want to put that license to work. So I would say be a little open in applying to any place that has job availability. I mean, don't go anywhere, because obviously you don't want to risk their license. But if the hospital that you want, in the labor and delivery position that you want specifically, the mother baby doesn't call you, please be willing to work other places so that you can put yourself out there and get experience. That's my advice, because there are a lot of people new in the nursing field right now that feel like they have not been getting the job offers that they were looking for originally. And the only way to combat that is just to be open and flexible. That's my advice. I've been a nurse for a little minute, and there hasn't been too many times when I was completely out of job. But if I was able to get one quickly, Good luck. Diversify your resume so that when you send it out, this day and age, when you're applying for jobs, people have their pick of the litter, because there's a lot of nurses, right? And there's some with some real experience who are still moving around. Some people get into a groove and they don't move. So my advice to anyone who is newer in nursing or came out of school in the last few years, please do something different. Do different jobs. Don't get stuck in, this was my first job, so I'm going to stick to it. And I'm not saying, sometimes you find an amazing hospital. If you find an amazing hospital, then I would just want to transfer and move up and make maneuver yourself. That was all. You can stay within the same hospital system and transfer or learn new things. Be willing to float or follow people or train to do something new on the side. Maybe take a little per diem. If you don't do anything new, then how are you going to learn? And if you don't diversify your resume and your experience level, be willing to try something new. Sometimes there's probably been times when someone offered me a position and it was a few dollars less than what I was used to making, or it was just different. But there was a part of it that was convenient for me. Like, it was very per diem, and I could maybe do one Sunday a month. Okay, I don't usually work on Sundays, but I do it. That's fine. That's cool, because it was something different, and I wanted to be able to put it on my resume. I always looked at positions as it's an opportunity for a new level of experience. That's how I was always looked at jobs. Always. You look at the pay. Don't get it twisted. Everybody looks at the pay. But if you're in the beginning of your career, baby, you was just in school poor anyway. So what's the big deal? What's the difference? Like, it's sacrifice. It's literally on the job training, and that's priceless. And if you don't see that, I will say this: I sent my resume on a whim. on a whim, literally just answered the ad, click, 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 and more than one recruiter called me in less than an hour. Hey, we saw your resume, and it looks really nice. What do you want to do? Which avenue do you want to go to? Because I've worked a lot of different places. It's not, you just have to be open to learn new things. When I took a psych position, I had not worked psych before. I had worked a nursing home as soon as I got my LPN license, right? And when I got there, it turns out them people in that nursing home was psych. For real. They didn't say they were psych. I ain't gonna name the name of the nursing home because it's right over here in Miami. And if people know, you know.